Hey guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to talk to you guys about stats in D4, how to make your dismantling of all your items much quicker and much faster so you can get back out there farming them nightmare dungeons or whatever it is you may be doing to get more loot and thus getting more uniques, so just better for everybody. I'm just going to cover what is the main stats you kind of want to look out for on items, as there is a lot of stats that can roll onto an item, and how to just see straight away if an item is even worth keeping or even worth enchanting in the first place. Otherwise, just sell it straight away for gold, and if you're really early on in the game, you should just dismantle it for some materials, as you will need materials. But then as you get later on into the game, the materials will actually drop so much from dungeons they actually end up needing gold more than anything else, so you should start vendoring your items. But without further ado, let's actually talk about the stats, and I'll show you guys this little document I have made up for you to make it really easy to see. So I have listed the main three stats, or the main three stats you should look for rolls on every item piece. Obviously there is a lot more rolls within each item piece, and obviously different classes can roll different things as well. But pretty much if it doesn't have at least 2 out of these 3 stats, you should just straight up sell it straight away. Don't even bother looking at it any further. So for an helmet, for example, if it doesn't at least have CDR and max life, just sell it straight away. Don't even waste time looking at it. Sell it straight away. Don't even waste materials trying to reroll it. Just sell it. Get it out of inventory so you can just go out there, farm some better items, and you'll most likely eventually get an item to drop with the stats that you want. So these are the 3 most important roles I could say for pretty much every single class on all of these pieces. But then I do have another website I've yet to share with you guys. I'm going to scroll this all the way up, as I was going through it all myself, where you can actually see the stats. So this over there will show for all classes. That's all classes on the helmet. And then if you actually click on a specific class there, it's going to just show you for all the items. So helmet, all classes, and then rogue. Obviously, because if you have selected rogue, then this is just the added stuff you can roll on your rogue. But this stuff obviously rolls on every single class, so no matter what you are, you have a chance to roll these as well. Then you can scroll down, you go through all the items, and you can see everything pretty much as well. And on the amulet, you can see there for rogue, then you can actually start seeing your stuff like the passives over here. And the passives are pretty important, as that is something, if you come over to my little thing on amulets, CDR and your passive is like 2 of the most important things to go for on most classes. And then damage reduction from whatever it is you may desire. And you can see damage reduction, damage with dual wield. Let's see any damage reduction. I don't see any damage reduction either from enemies that are poison, is specific to rogue. And then at the top over here we actually have just flat out damage reduction and damage reduction from distant enemies. I reckon damage reduction flat out is better than all of these other ones. And when I put this in my spreadsheet over here as damage reduction, with these 3 little dots on those 2, I mean like insert, pretty much specific to your class. So on the chest it could be for like sword, could be like burning or frozen or cold, or obviously if they're frozen they can't do damage, but like chilled or whatever, you know what I mean. And then if I have one that actually says damage reduction without the little dots, responds to flat damage reduction, which is what I mean over there, as there's flat damage reduction. And this over here, the other one, where was it, the rogue specific damage reduction from enemies that are poison, because you only get when they're poison. So when you're running up to them when they're not poisoned yet, or if you don't do any poison because you're running some other weird rogue build, then you won't get any of that damage reduction. That's why I reckon it's better to just go for the flat straight damage reduction. Obviously having that damage reduction to poison is better than having no damage reduction. So that's another thing I want to get into is, let me just equal this out. So if you don't have anything selected, it's going to show you there per item, barb, druid, necro, all of them like that for the helmet. So another thing I want to touch on is damage reduction is what you should be looking at into moving into the end game, as we have enough skill damage and like how the way builds work and stuff. We have more than enough damage to actually clear content. At the later levels we actually start lacking survivability. That's why it's so important to get the damage reduction. So let's just have a quick little overview. Helm, CDR, max life, main stat. Look for at least 2 out of 3 of these items per stat. Ideally you want to have all 3 of these, and then whatever it is for your choice. On helmet, say now I was on my druid, I would want CDR, max life, main stat, and then spirit cost reduction on my druid. And then on Sork probably something like barrier gen, because you can get something really specific on Sork. Where is it? Let's have a look at Sork. Helm, you can get what is it, lucky hit chance while you have a barrier. Really good for a Sork. So just something like that. But try and get at least these 3 main ones, and then whatever you want on your build or your class. Chests, you want to go for damage reduction, max life, and damage reduction of whatever, and then preferably armor, or just double all the damage reductions you can get, as they do stack, and you get a massive defense from your chest. So your chest and your pants, usually you just want to get all the defense you can get. Your helm is kind of like CDR, max life, and then utility kind of a thing. And then your gloves is where you want to get most of your damage on your build. So you get +4 to your main skill. It will never start at +4 because you have to upgrade the piece first. But I think the max roll will be like 2 once you pick it up, or 3. And then once you start upgrading it, depending on the item level, it will cap out at max of 4 to whatever your main skill may be. I have a look over here at Sword. You can scroll down to gloves, and you can see their ranks of Fireball, Chain Lightning, Ice Shards. Really good one there for one of the massive builds. And then some other stuff over there. So that's what you look for on gloves. On pants, again, defensive item, total armor, max life, damage reduction, and then probably another sort of damage reduction over there. But the max life is really important, as it is one of the few pieces where you can get it. And then moving on to boots, we can get main stat, resource cost reduction of whatever it is we're playing, and move speed over there I think is a really good one. You don't need move speed, but it's nice to have that utility on your boots. And then another one to actually get is all stats, as it just helps you progress to your paragon nodes and all the other stuff in your class. And then on your amulet, hands down the 2 most important is cooldown reduction for pretty much every single build, and then plus to your passive skill. So let's have a look at Sork. Where is amulet? A little bit further down, amulet. And then Sork over here, ranks to all mastery skills. Ranks to all defense skills is really good on Sork, as that pretty much unlocks ranks to teleport and to both of your shields and to Frost Nova. It's insane. Sork's defensive skill one is really good. And then for another example, Druid one, yeah, look at Druid, whereas E-Venom ranks to E-Venom. That one's really strong on Druid, as it's just a flat damage multiplier for them. So that's why I reckon these 2 most important. And then damage reduction again, and then 4th, whatever it is you may be. Because on my Druid, another one would be like spirit cost reduction is really good for that on Druid as a 4th roll. And then rings, you always want to get crit chance, crit damage, vulnerable damage. And then usually you would go for max life as the 4th roll. Or if you need something else on your build, then you pick up that last one. But you definitely always want to try and get crit chance, crit damage, and vulnerable damage. In some cases, you might be playing a build that has a high crit chance, like Rampaging Druid. Well, then you don't actually need the crit chance. Then you just go, other way around. You don't go for the crit damage, you just get the crit chance, the vuln damage, and then some other stuff, that max life and whatever else it is. More than often, you will be going for these 3 stats. Weapon, main stat, crit damage, vuln damage. I did a little spelling mistake over there. We can spell main. There we go. Main stat, crit damage, vulnerable damage. Really important over there. And your offhand, the most important, you can always get CDR, cooldown reduction, and then crit chance as well. And then damage reduction, you can't get flat damage reduction, otherwise it put that as the 3rd roll. You can only get damage reduction to whatever it may be. Let's have a look at Sork, for example. We'll scroll down to offhand, and then damage reduction from enemies that are burning. Seems to be the only one there, but most Sork builds always use burning as a passive, so you'll probably get that anyway. But that is just all the stats to look out for. So look out for these main 3 on all pieces. If, like I said, if they don't have at least 2 of these 3 rolls on them, just sell them, get them out of there, and get back to farming. That is it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. If you guys understood it, liked it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the